everybody, JC here with another edition of T&I Pop Talk. Now first let me just apologize. I know it's been a while since we filmed one of these episodes. I know the last time I'd said I was going to maybe try and do them once a week, and obviously that didn't work out too well. It's been really hectic these last several weeks. We've had several conventions. I've had a ton of DC collectible stuff to review over the last couple weeks, and then just running the websites. We just moved the servers, the websites over to brand new servers, and so we had a bunch of bugs to kind of work out with that. I know, we had some issues with images loading really slow. I think we've gotten that all worked out, so hopefully if you haven't been to the site recently, please check it out, and if you have any problems, let us know. But you should definitely be getting, images should be running much faster, and everything should be running much smoother on the websites now. Those sites are huge. Those sites have been around for over 10 years, and so there's a lot of data and images and stuff that has to be moved over. So that was definitely a huge project. But old servers were getting slow and outdated, so it had to be done. So anyway, as I mentioned, we've had several conventions these past couple weeks with Star Wars Celebration. We had Artemis Prime out covering that for us. The G.I.Joe convention, Pixel Dan was covering that one for us. Last weekend we had C2E2, though not a whole lot really going on with that one, but definitely just a lot of things going on these past couple weeks. So I wanted to, film one of these Pop Talks just to kind of catch up on things. Also, last night I caught a screening of Avengers Age of Ultron, so I just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts on that movie. I definitely, the movie hasn't opened up here in the United States. It'll open up tomorrow night, Thursday night, and Friday. So, but definitely wanted to share some of my thoughts on that movie. But we'll keep that definitely spoiler free. I've also got a little giveaway I want to tell you about. So let's just kick off. So let's just do a brief recap about the convention. So with Star Wars Celebration, not a whole lot in the way of toy news came out of that convention, unfortunately. Back at Toy Fair, Hasbro really didn't have anything new for Star Wars, and so we were hoping that we were going to see at least a bunch of new Black Series and stuff here at Celebration, and unfortunately that really didn't happen. We saw one new 6-inch figure, a prototype, unpainted prototype no less, and then a couple new 3 1/4-inch Black Series, but really didn't have a whole lot new. So I guess Hasbro's going to be switching pretty soon here, full force, with Episode 7 toys for a while at least. And of course they're not allowed to show that stuff yet, so they didn't have any of that to show at Celebration. But we did see a new Rebels, so definitely it looks like we're going to be getting Rebels figures in the Black Series. I personally, I love the 6-inch Black Series, but personally, if we're going to see Rebels figures in the Black Series, I would personally rather see it in the 3 1/4-inch, because obviously right now all we've gotten for Rebels are the 5 points of articulated figures, and so I would definitely like to see some 3 1/4-inch more articulated versions of those characters released in the Black Series. So hopefully that'll be coming. And then G.I.Joe convention, again, not a whole lot was revealed. Unfortunately, it's a non-movie year for G.I. Joe, so we're going to get a few Toys R Us exclusives, which will also be released through some online e-tailers, which consists primarily of repaints of vehicles we've gotten previously, his tanks, Sky Striker. There's a couple cool figures. I like the new Gung Ho figure that they showed, but really for the most part it wasn't a whole lot that got me terribly excited about G.I. Joe. No 6-inch figures, unfortunately, in the works right now. Seems those internet rumors were drastically overblown. I still could see maybe Hasbro going down that road at some point, but it would definitely be a movie year or something when they could get mass retail support, or as they call it, national retail support for the line. So again, a couple cool things, and I mean, if you're a diehard Joe collector, you probably like that stuff. like the repaints and stuff. It's just, for me personally, you know, as cool as some of those figures looked, you know, the Zartan figure looked good, Storm Shadow looked good, but I don't really need those figures anymore. I've got enough Zartan, I've got enough Snake Eyes, I've got enough Fireflies, I've got enough Storm Shadows. You know, I don't need those figures anymore. So, you know, reissuing those same figures just, you know, doesn't do a whole lot for me as far as getting excited about collecting that line. So, you know, from my personal standpoint, you know, I might pick up the new Gung Ho because, you know, the 25th anniversary Gung Ho was a little lacking as far as articulation and a little bit on the small side. So, you know, that one's worth an update. But, you know, for the most part, the other figures I could probably do without. You know, I would have much rather seen, you know, other characters that we haven't gotten. You know, but, and I could go on a rant about, you know, the collector club doing these figures that then kind of puts it off limits to them being released to general release, figures like Footloose and stuff, which are offered as club exclusives and stuff. But I'm not going to spend much time on that. You know, me personally, I don't really like that. You know, if you're a fan of the club, if you join the club, I mean, you know, I understood, and you know, that's great. But for me, it's just, you know, I would like a Footloose figure, but it's not worth joining, you know, a club for. So, you know, if it's the choice of having to subscribe and join a club and everything to get figures, then I'm just going to pass on the figures. And then the more holes that are created in my collection from that, then the less likely I'm going to continue collecting the line, because it's just that it becomes to the point where there's just too many holes in the collection. So, and I'm not going to pay the outrageous secondary, you know, market prices for those figures either. So you know. Anyway, shifting gears. So, getting on to Avengers. As I said, I caught a screening of that last night, and I gotta say, I liked the movie. I thought it was a really good movie. I did not think it was as good as the first Avengers movie, and I didn't think it was as good as Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Probably not even as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, though for me personally, I prefer the characters in the Avengers, you know, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, as opposed to the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I kind of like the Avengers just in general better than Guardians, so I would say I enjoyed probably Avengers 2 better, but if you were just looking at it from which was a better movie, then I would actually probably say Guardians was a better movie story-wise and everything. Than Avengers 2. So I'm going to keep this spoiler free, so I'm not going to give you a lot of specifics, but I'll say, you know, the good things I liked about it, you know, had the same kind of, you know, things we've come to love from those movies, you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s witty, you know, remarks, cool armors, special effects. I thought the special effects for like Ultron were incredible. I mean, Ultron looked totally real. I mean, it was nothing like, oh my god, this is so corny looking. The effects with Ultron, all versions of Ultron, were incredible, and I think they did a great job with that. Same with the Hulk. I think they've continued to improve upon the Hulk and the, you know, the CGI effects with Hulk and everything, and he continues to look more and more lifelike and real in every incarnation I see him on the big screen. So, you know, that the special effects were great. Now, there were some of the battle scenes, especially like in the beginning and stuff, I didn't think rolled as well, didn't flow as smoothly. A couple times where it even kind of bordered on, oh my god, this is kind of corny looking. Definitely not as good as like the big battle scene at the end of the first Avengers movie. I thought, you know, that scene, those scenes, fight scenes and everything, flowed much smoother and looked more realistic. You know, when the Avengers were fighting the Chitauri in New York City and everything, I thought that was a better, smooth flowing segment than a lot of those similar type scenes in this movie. And maybe it's just the 3D aspect, I don't know, but there were definitely a few times where I thought those kinds of scenes were not as good as I had come to expect from these movies. Not horrible or anything, but definitely there were a few times where I thought it was a little lacking as opposed to like the first movie and other Marvel movies that we've seen. Some of the fighting choreograph, a lot of it's just so much going on at the same time. It's just kind of hard to, follow everything as well. So I mean that played a part of it as well, but definitely I thought the first movie with those kinds of scenes did a better job than in this one. But as far as like the CGI with Ultron and stuff, that was done incredible, and I thought they did a great job. And I thought, I thought Ultron was great. They kind of added some a little bit of, comedic one-liners with Ultron, which I'm not terribly accustomed to. Ultron to me is normally pretty serious and stuff, but I thought it worked pretty well. I thought, they pulled it off pretty good for the most part. My biggest complaint with the movie, though, is I think the story overall just didn't flow quite as well as in the first movie. And I think part of that's just, I think they've gotten to the point where they're trying to do so much and cram so much into one movie that it just kind of, it feels a little rushed at times. The first movie and the first phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean, each of the, movies leading up to the Avengers, basically, they told their own story, but they also were leading up to the Avengers. And then you got the big payoff in the Avengers. Whereas in this one, and the second phase of the Cinematic Universe, it just did not flow quite that well. We got a lot of, little tidbits for the Infinity Gems and stuff throughout, but we've yet to get the big payoff for that. And obviously that's going to come in the next two Avengers movies with the Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. But it was a little disappointing that we really didn't get that kind of big payoff in this movie like we did in the first Avengers movie. We kind of, instead of getting the payoff, we kind of just went off into left field with Ultron, out of the blue kind of. So I think that's part of it. And then I just think, as we keep expanding the Marvel Universe, and I mean that's definitely one of the things that I like about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is how each movie kind of builds upon and creates an overall encompassing story and everything. So that's an element that I've enjoyed, but I think the downside to that is it gets so big and there's so many things that you've got to try and encompass and include and follow and everything. It starts to take away from the actual story of the individual movie. And I've seen that with things like with Star Trek. Star Trek's not quite the same thing as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but definitely where you've got all this history that builds upon itself with all the different TV shows that then would lead into the movies and build upon each other and everything. And you started to see how it would kind of handcuff the writers and the directors and everything, and what they could do and the stories they could tell, because they were limited by things that had already happened in the past. And so I kind of see that happening with the Marvel Universe now, and with so many different things with the TV shows and all the different movies and everything. It's just the task of creating a story that fits in with everything else that's going on, and yet is still able to tell a good, smooth flowing story that's entertaining and action packed. That's got to be a monumental task that I don't envy anyone having to do. Which is probably why Joss Whedon is stepping down after this Avengers movie. Because I think that's kind of started to wear on him and such. So I think that kind of did detract a little bit from this movie. Again, not saying in any way it's a bad movie. It's not. It's definitely an enjoyable movie. And many of the elements that we've come to love from the Marvel movies. I just don't think it worked quite as well this time as it did with the first Avengers or like Captain America the Winter Soldier. Definitely some surprises though. Definitely some things in this movie that I did not expect to happen actually happened. Again, I won't give them away, but definitely, even with all the TV spots and trailers and everything that we've seen, there were definitely a few surprises in this movie that I did not really see coming. Some were a little bit off the wall. You know, some of the characters were like, they kind of just went woo. You know, totally off book from what we've seen in the comics and such. And you know, some people I know like that. You know, some people don't. You know, so you know, I'm not sure how you're going to like some of that. To me, it didn't bother me too much, but it definitely was like, wow, really? Well, I wasn't expecting that. And then the ending, I do like the ending. You know, back in the comics with the original Avengers, when the team, you know, new members came on board and stuff, you know, it was definitely kind of had the feel of that at the end of this movie. So I like that. I definitely enjoyed that. I will tell you, there is one Easter egg scene midway through the end credits. There's not two, so you don't have to sit all the way through the credits. But there is a midway scene. It's not the one with the Spider-Man with the window washer. That was apparently fake. But I will say that was probably, I like that better than what we actually got for the Easter egg. This one was not anything. I'll say this: we've basically seen it already. A variation of it, so it wasn't terribly that cool to me. It could have been better. I think whoever came up with the Spider-Man sitting there with the window washer, I think probably did a better job with the Easter egg than what they actually gave us in the movie. So anyway, I give the movie a thumbs up. I would probably give it a B rating for my grade. I mean, definitely if you're a fan of the Marvel Universe and the Avengers, I mean, I could tell you this movie's going to totally suck and you'd still go see it. So, you know, me telling you whether the movie's good or not is probably immaterial. But definitely I think, you know, if you like these types of movies, you'll enjoy it. It's just not quite as good as the first one. But the first one, in my opinion, is still, the first Avengers movie, in my opinion, is still the best Marvel movie to date. With Captain America and the Winter Soldier being the second best, and those two, you know, are going to be kind of hard to top. I'm not saying they won't do it and can't do it, but definitely, I don't think they did it. I don't think they topped those movies with this one. So that brings me on to my next thing. Well, we'll go on. As I said, I had a giveaway for you guys, so we'll go on and tell you about that. So I posted some pictures of this a few weeks ago on my Facebook page, and I think I also posted these on the Marvelous News Facebook page as well. So this is a box full of toys that Hasbro sends out. Usually we get these for every Marvel movie or big movie that has Hasbro toys related to it. So now, I got to be honest with you, from an adult collector standpoint, the coolest thing about this is the box itself, because the toys inside are generally like the more kid-oriented toys, the role-playing stuff. So, you know, it's not like it's a box full of Marvel Legends or something like that. Sometimes we do maybe get one Marvel Legends in the box or something. This particular one we did not. So, you know, the coolest thing about these, though, is just the box itself. It's kind of a cool, unique collector thing. So, you know, I'm going to give this away, basically, to one of you. And I'm going to open it up in a minute to show you the inside. It's cooler inside than on the outside. But basically what I want you to do is we're going to have a drawing. And I'd say, well, let's give it until May 15th. So you'll have until May 15th to enter. And basically all you got to do is just comment on the comment section of this video, letting us know, well, two things. Okay, if you haven't already, you need to subscribe, because that's my main incentive for giving stuff away is you know, to build up subscribers. So, you know, I'm not above buying my subscribers, as they say. So, you know, you need to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, which hopefully you have. But then, once you subscribe, then you just need to leave a comment and let us know what you thought about Avengers. You know, probably leave it as spoiler-free as you can. And, you know, it can just be simply, I loved it or I hated it. You know, if you want to give explanation of why you liked it or why you disliked it, then that's great. We'd love to read it. But to be entered into the drawing, you basically just need to leave a comment letting us know whether you like the Avengers or Age of Ultron movie or not. So obviously you've got to wait until you've seen the movie. I'm going to guess that most of you are probably going to go see it opening weekend. But that's why I'm giving you until May 15th to give you a little time to go out and see the movie, and then come back and comment and let us know what you thought. So one entry per person, and once you've commented, you'll basically, and subscribed, you'll automatically be entered, and we'll hold the drawing May 16th and announce the winner a few days after that. I'll probably announce it in the video description. I'll probably also post about it on the Marvelous News Facebook page. So I'll put a link in the description for that if you don't follow us, Marvelous News on Facebook. Or no, I take that back. I'll announce it on my own Facebook page. So and there'll be a link in the description for that below. So if you want, I mean, you don't have to friend me on Facebook but if you want, like, just it to appear on your wall or whatever, if you're assuming you're on Facebook, then you'll probably want to follow me on Facebook. But I'll put a link in the description below, and then you'll just want to check the Facebook page. I'll leave a comment. Well, I mean, I'll contact the person through YouTube, letting them know they've won. But if you want to, find out who won, or make sure you didn't get the message or whatever, then check my Facebook page a couple days after the 16th, and we'll post about it. So anyway, this box, it's pretty big. So on the outside, it's just all black with this kind of red lighting. You got the Avengers logo on the front. Now, the box is big. This is basically how it ships. So it's got the mailing label on the box. So, unfortunately, you'll have to deal with that. Wherever I end up mailing it to, I'll have to put a new shipping label on it. So this is the outside of the box. But then the inside of the box, and you see you've got this big giant picture of Ultron in there. And then, again, you've got the Avengers, same kind of design as on the outside. And then this opens up, and again, you've got more pictures of the Avengers. And then you've got, as I said, basically a bunch of Hasbro role-playing stuff. So you got Hulks, you got a Hulk mask. You've got those new Hulk fists with the moving fingers. Thor's hammer. Captain America's shield. And then one more, Iron Man's repulsor is in there as well. So again, it's the product inside is not, I mean, if you've got kids, then I'm sure they'll love it. But it's more, the box itself is just kind of a cool collectible. And a unique collectible, because, I mean, I don't know how many Hasbro sends out, but, it's not a huge number. So it's a pretty unique collectible thing to have. So again, I'm going to give one person a chance to win it, and to be entered in the drawing. Just leave a comment in this video after you subscribe to the channel, letting us know what you thought of Avengers Age of Ultron, and you've got until May 15th to do that. So one final thing I want to touch on is the announcement that came last week of a new Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy box set. Now, we first heard about this set last summer at San Diego Comic-Con. Hasbro talked about it briefly, but now we've seen images of the set, and the actual set is up for pre-order. It is Entertainment Earth exclusive. Now, Entertainment Earth is actually, they have their online e-tailer store, but they're also an actual distributor, and they do just, they're a distributor for Hasbro. So it is first being offered up for pre-order at Entertainment Earth right now. But you will eventually see it at other places like Big Bad Toy Store and such as well. So other places will be carrying this set. I don't know if Toys R Us is going to carry the set. You know, sometimes they do work with Entertainment Earth. I have not heard that they're going to carry it, but I haven't heard that they're not. At this point, I'd probably say if you want the set, I would just order it online. I don't think the price is going to be any different, so, you know, why not order it online? And you're safer that way, but that set might end up showing up at Toys R Us. I'm not sure, but it's going to cost $120. Now we do have a discount code, a $20 discount code for Entertainment Earth up on Marvelous News, and I'll have a link in this description if you haven't seen it already. So if you do want to pre-order it from Entertainment Earth right now, you can, if you use the code at marvelousnews.com, you can get an additional $20 off, and they're offering free shipping on it. So it actually, you know, even $120 is a little bit on the steep side for 5 6-inch figures, but with the code, it's actually not too bad. So again, if you want to order it, if you haven't already, and you haven't gotten the code, then check out the link below and get that code off of marvelousnews.com. So that pretty much wraps up this edition. Oh, I guess while we're on Marvel, I'll just say, since the last episode, and I'm just want to wrap this up, but the new Daredevil Netflix series came out, and I thought that was great. I thought that's Marvel's best TV series to date. While I don't hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Or even Agent Carter, I think Daredevil was 10 times better than those. You know, and I really loved it. The only really downside is we don't see, well, I won't give it too much away, but I will tell you, since we've seen images and stuff, and the series has been out for a good couple of weeks now, we do see Daredevil in his red suit eventually in the series, but it's not until towards the end, which is kind of disappointing. But the new suit, I mean, the red suit looks great. And the second season has been approved. That was just announced this past week. So you know, and it was great. I think they did an awesome job with it, and I'm totally looking forward to the next season of this Netflix series. So Daredevil gets a big A+ for me. And if you haven't checked it out already on Netflix, I highly recommend that you do. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll try and, you know, get another one up. Like I said, maybe I'll shoot for once a month on these, if not more. Hope you guys go out and enjoy. I know the Avengers this weekend, or if you've already seen it, I know it's opened up in a lot of places, you know, outside of the United States, so a lot of you have probably already seen it. But if you haven't, or you're going to go see it again, hope you enjoy it this weekend. Like I said, it's definitely a good movie, lots of good action, and definitely worth checking out. So until next time, I'll catch you all later.